Oh, I ain't been on the cup.
That's right, Sheikh. You ain't forget. I appreciate that. Wallahi, I do. May Allah reward you. That's very important.
Hey, sir, I know, brother. I'm trying to stay on top of it, man, best I can.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallama tasliman kathiran amma ba'd. Like we promised last week, today or tonight, we would start a commentary and explanation of Kitab al-Ta'bir. Kitab al-Ta'bir, the book of interpretation of dreams from Mukhtasar Sahih al-Bukhari, the summarized version of Sahih al-Bukhari. Last week's class, we explained the reasons why we selected this topic to teach. We mentioned things which would justify and soothe some of the aching of some of the brothers who said that we shouldn't do a class on this topic. We mentioned all of this last week. Those who were not here, please refer back to the recordings. Perhaps, bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, you'll benefit from what we mentioned last week. We also mentioned last week that we would take some readings from one of the books in the English language called Authentic Interpretation of the Dreams, according to Quran and Sunnah, of Dr. Ahmed Farid. Of course, it's well known, without saying again, the book of Dr. Bilal Phillips, Dream Interpretation According to the Quran and Sunnah. However, we chose to make the other book our umda, our main foundation. I'm not saying that we won't take anything from the first book, the book of Dr. Ahmed Farid. Both books are very beneficial in English. They're very beneficial. One is a translation, and another is an original work in the English language. Khairan, inshallah. So let's not waste any more time on that. Let's get started. Bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it says Kitab al-Ta'bir, the book or chapter of at-Ta'bir, yani Ta'bir al-Ru'ya, is to make ta'bir of a dream. And what is exactly meant by interpreting a dream? What is the interpretation of a dream? The word ta'bir in many cases has or is synonymous to the word ta'wil. At-ta'wil, at-ta'bir. And a third synonym is at-tafsir. We may say tafsir, ta'bir, or ta'wil. Three different terms in the Arabic language. All of them orbit, or we say all of them, if they don't orbit, they float around in the circle of the concept of dreams. And then we have words and terms that are used for the dream itself, Nafis, not just the interpretation. Whether it is the plural, we say al-ahlam, hulm, ru'ya. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions this in the Quran al-Kareem, that they said to Yusuf alayhi salam, and they spoke to Yusuf alayhi salam in the prison. So therefore, some of the people of knowledge, they say that these terms are synonymous, and others say that they aren't so synonymous. We don't want to get caught too much in semantics right now. What is important is that he says the chapter of at-Ta'bir. In other words, Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah, just like any other place in his book, he's going to give you a selection of narrations that he feels and he thinks to be from the most genuine narrations that exist. And he's going to place these narrations under chapter headings, abwab. He's going to allow you to have a better grasp of the narration, a better understanding of the narration. And what's meant by at-ta'bir or ta'wil or tafsir is for a person to see something, and then as if he looks at that thing through another scope, or as if he puts another mirror to it, like two mirrors almost. And that is because the dream in itself is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows you, Sheikh Anwar, and He makes a parable for you, an example. He shows you something that is not intended by itself, but it's something that is used for another reality. And then the person who sees it at nighttime, or in the daytime, whether it is he himself who interprets the dream or someone else who interprets it for him, the dream goes into a what? Another
dimension.
Again, you saw something, now this is what it is going to mean, inshallah. Or perhaps it means this. Or perhaps that's going to happen to you. Everybody understand this? But the actual thing that you see very seldom is the actual thing that's going to take place exactly. But it's normally something that is figurative. Everybody understand this? A metaphor. Something Allah is showing you as an indicator for what's going to really take place. So it's a clue. This is the concept of interpreting the dream. Because very seldom we said this will actually show you the specific thing that's going to happen, specifically, in full detail. There's some things that come close. Some incidences that come close. But the specific details, specific time, specific place, very seldom. Everybody understand this? Or the whole event, very seldom. So we see some things Allah shows us. He said, Amthal madruba, a method, a similitude, the likeness of something, and then you put it through another scope when you interpret it. Everybody understand this? First and foremost, when you're sleeping, it is a relative state of death. It is a what? A relative state of death. That's first and foremost. So when a person is asleep, even though he's in the dunya or the hayat dunya, the worldly life, as if he isn't in the worldly life. Because we believe that sleep is a type of death. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He gives death to the souls at night. At nighttime. Those whom He causes to return to Him. فَيُمْسِكُ الَّتِي قَضَى عَلَيْهَا. Allah says those whom He decreed to die, He takes them at night. They never return, never wake up, die in sleep. And those individuals whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed to live longer, He allows their souls to return to them. So therefore, sleep, we said, what is a type of death? So if sleep is a type of death, then it is as if the sleep is a place in which it is in the dunya. Everybody understand this? As if. I said as if. Everybody clear on this? So therefore, when we start speaking about dreams and interpreting dreams, you're seeing something that isn't exactly 100% worldly in the dunya. But it's an indicator for something in the dunya. It's a piece, it's like a sample for the actual thing that's going to take place what? In the dunya. And that is only taken out through the concept of ta'bir. Interpreting it, quote unquote. What does it mean? What is it going to end up in? How is it going to end up? What's going to happen? I saw this, so on and so forth, etc. Everybody understand this? In general, make sense? Or not? Khayr, inshallah. That's first and foremost. Secondly is, we want to mention some more things in the book Kashif. There are etiquettes of the interpreter, and there are etiquettes of the one whose dream is being interpreted. There are adab and there are ahkam. Some of those etiquettes are shared between both, and some of those etiquettes are specific to one party without the other. Everybody understand this? Such as an example of this, Nafis, will be an example of an etiquette of someone who interprets dreams. He should have knowledge. What does that mean? He should have knowledge. We say yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no. You said it right in the beginning, then you got scared. Yes and no, both. A person to interpret dreams should have knowledge of interpreting dreams as a specific science itself. But on top of that, he should also be well learned in Islam before he even specializes in something. Just like a doctor. Doctor specializes in, he specializes in the bones of the foot. He should have knowledge of the bones of the foot to deal with your sprained ankle, your fractured instep. But before he goes that far in specializing, he has to have basic knowledge of the skin, of the blood, of the nervous system, everything else. So there are some people who feel that if I just have knowledge of interpreting dreams, but I'm not qualified in the other Islamic sciences, I'm not thoroughly rounded, you still can't interpret dreams. And similarly, we say, the one who has general Islamic knowledge without the specifics of dream interpretation is also in danger. Himself and for the one he's interpreting the dream. Everybody understand this? So not only does he have to have sound Islamic knowledge, but he also has to specialize in, or he should have a good amount of extra knowledge in what? Dream interpretation. Everybody understand this? Because there are rules. There are things that are agreed upon, and there are things in which there may be ijtihad. Scholars may have reservations on those things, opinions. Everybody clear on this? There's one etiquette. The next etiquette of the dream, of the one whose dream is being interpreted is who? Is what? Shaykh Anwar. An adab of a person who wants his or her dream interpreted. I haven't heard that in a long time, Sheikh. Hey, now, that's people don't even say that no more. I remember this. You know who taught me that word? Talut. Talut taught me that word years ago. He said, Naam, hey, Naam. It's like a special level of Naam. It means like, hey, Naam, like, I'm here. He told me that years ago, maybe 15, 16 years ago. You rarely hear people say that anymore. That's from like the old, early days.
That means I've been around for a while.
Yeah. But the people, you know, when the people were eager to learn, when things came and people came, and it wasn't just this and that, but it was ilm that was being pushed and pumped into the people. It was the style to learn Arabic. It was the style to look like and want to be a student of knowledge. It was the style to go overseas. Am I making this up, Emma?
No, you're right.
It was the style to have your pants high. It was the style to do this style. Now it's like it's the opposite. It's the style to be shout out. It's the style to have one foot in, one foot out. It's the style to just be a loudmouth person who talks, a fitna maker. No knowledge, no nothing, but that's my man.
No, that's plenty of
That's the sunnah now. Back in those days, I was very, very young. The style was to be studious, was to say words like that. To everybody had to memorize Juz Amma. Anybody who memorized Juz Tabarak was like, whoa, Hafid, he memorized Juz Tabarak.
I remember some of that myself.
Uh-huh.
And another like, yeah.
Qad Sami'a, you be like, khalas. Yeah, Shaykh al-Islam. Nowadays, that's not saying. Suffered tremendously. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Not saying that there weren't things that were wrong with that as well. And the seeds of what's going on today were planted then, but it was still different. Khair, malish, no more reminiscing, huh? It took me back. I just didn't hear that word in a long time. Ainam, wallah. Khair, inshallah. An etiquette of someone who wants his dream interpreted is what?
The etiquette of someone who wants
Just one etiquette, one from many.
They should be a person with sincerity.
They should be sincere. Khair, Kashif, another one.
Truthful.
Exactly. They should speak the truth. They shouldn't lie. They shouldn't exaggerate. Nor should they hinder things. As they say, do you vow to speak the what? The truth? What else? What do they say to you in court? They just don't say speak the truth when you swear. They say three things. What do they say?
I think they changed it now.
No, it's the same. They say you speak the truth,
The whole truth.
and the whole truth. Don't leave out no important
I
details.
don't think they do that no more.
You don't think so? That's like Adam, huh? That's extinct. Allah musta'an. Hey, the point proven though. The concept of not just speaking the truth, but what?
The whole truth.
Whole truth. And not just saying partial truth and partial. Kevin. Very important. If you want an accurate interpretation of your dream, don't be too shy to tell me what you saw. I need to know. What did it look like? Where were you at? Who were you with? What happened? But I can't. I'm afraid. I died in the dream. If you want me to interpret the dream, I need to know. If you don't want the dream interpreted or this, and that, then that's what? It's a different story. Everybody understand this? Very important concept. So therefore, before we go into this any further, we say there are adab for the interpreter and for the one whose dream is being what? Interpreted. Everybody clear on this? Okay. Kashi, if you have the book. Bismillah. Let's get started reading on the first chapter. Or before we go that further, let's get started with Sahih al-Bukhari. Imam al-Bukhari, he says, Kitab al-Ta'bir, Babu Ru'ya Salihin. عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الرؤيا الحسنة من الرجل الصالح جزء من 46 جزءا من النبوة باب الرؤيا من الله عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه أنه سمع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إذا رأى أحدكم رؤيا يحبها فإنما هي من الله فليحمد الله عليها وليحدث بها وإذا رأى غير ذلك مما يكره فإنما هي من الشيطان فليستعيذ من شرها ولا يذكرها لأحد فإنها لا تضره باب المبشرات عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لم يبق من النبوة إلا المبشرات قالوا ما المبشرات قال الرؤيا الصالحة قال باب من رأى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في المنام. وعنه رضي الله عنه قال سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من رآني في المنام فسيراني في اليقظة ولا يتمثل الشيطان بي. وعن أبي سيدنا الخدري رضي الله عنه أنه سمع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من رآني فقد رأى الحق فإن الشيطان لا يتكونني. خير inshallah. Who brought their version of the summarized Sahih al-Bukhari? Raise your hand if you brought the necessary materials for class. Anybody? Isa? Anybody brought their necessary materials? Khair inshallah. It says here, the book of interpretation of dreams, chapter 1, the dreams of righteous people. Narrated Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a good dream of a righteous man is one of 46 parts of prophethood. Chapter 2, dreams are from Allah. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if any one of you sees a dream that he likes, then it is from Allah. And he should thank Allah for it and narrate it to others. But if he sees something else, i.e., a dream that he dislikes, then it is from Satan. And he should seek refuge with Allah from its evil, and he should not mention it to anybody, for it will not harm him. Chapter 3, Al-Mubashirat, glad tidings. Narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, I heard Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, nothing is left from the nubuwwah, prophethood, except Al-Mubashirat. They asked, what are al-mubashirat? He replied, righteous good dreams. Chapter 4, whoever saw the Prophet ﷺ in a dream. Narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, I heard the Prophet ﷺ saying, whoever sees me in a dream will see me in his wakefulness, and Satan cannot imitate me in shape. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever sees me, then he indeed has seen the truth, as Satan cannot appear in my shape. Khair inshallah. Let's get started on the book before we go back to the commentary on those hadith. Bismillah. Hold the kashif. You don't have it? Print it out? Bound in leather? And
This is not the book anymore.
Yeah, that's the book.
you lent him your book. There's a time in which you're not to help people. Kashif. And from those times is when it depends on your own class participation. Bismillah, yalla.
Bismillah.
Page 12.
Okay.
I'm saying Hafiz?
I have it.
You Google?
Yeah, that's it. That's it?
Yalla, Bismillah. Iqra. Too small.
Bismillah. The meaning and types of dreams.
He says here the meaning and types of dreams.
Hadith ibn Hajar, may Allah be pleased with him, said, Al-Qadi, Abu Bakr Ibn Arabi, he said, dreams are perceptions placed in the hearts of a person, in the hands of an angel or a devil, either in the form of names, true nature, surnames, interpretations, or confusion. They are equivalent to thoughts and ideas and wakefulness because they may come in a regular order in the form of a story or naturally. However, Abu Ishaq has said, Al-Qadi, Abu Bakr ibn Tayyib said, Ibn Tayyib thinks that dreams are beliefs. He justifies his argument by saying that a dreamer may see himself as an animal or a bird, for example, which is not perception. Therefore, it must be a belief, as it may be unlike the things perceived. Continue.
Please.
However, the reader should know that all the things that a dreamer sees in his sleep could have the meaning for interpretation. The dreamer may see one of the following three things. 1. Confused false dreams from shaitan. As in the story of the man who said to the Prophet ﷺ, I saw in a dream that I had been beheaded, then I followed it and put it back in its place. Rasulullah ﷺ said, do not talk about shaitan's vain sporting with you during the night. This is just one of Shaitan's vain ways of sporting and artifice that may bring grief to the believers, which Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has informed
With
us.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has informed us of in the Quran. Secret conspiracies are only from Shaitan, in order that he may cause grief to the believers. Also, Shaitan may cause one of you to have a sexual dream, which requires one to take a bath. However, this requires no interpretation, and the prophets were exempt from it, since the prophets' dreams were revelations. Second one, hadith an-nafs. The reflections of one's thoughts and experiences has when one is awake. For example, one might have been very busy with his business or voyage. Then during his sleep, he sees what he has been thinking about. There is also considered as confused dreams, although they are not from Shaitan, because they do not cause grief in the heart. In short, they are not true dreams that entail glad tidings or warnings, nor Shaitan deceptions and intuitions that bring about grief and pain. And last one, number 3, a good dream is from Allah. For the believer, it is 1/46 part of prophethood. There is no doubt that part of the good dreams is seeing the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On the authority of Jabir, radiallahu anhu, the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "He who saw me in a dream has in fact seen me, for Shaitan cannot
Assume my form.
assume my form." I had to go to the next one. Shaitan cannot assume the form of natural disposition of the prophets. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Continue. These three types of dreams may be summarized in a hadith reported by Abu Hurairah, in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "When the day of resurrection approaches, the dreams of the believer will hardly fail to come true.
Allahu Akbar.
And the dream of the believers is 1/46 part of prophethood. And whatever belongs to the prophethood can never be false. There are 3 types of dreams: a good dream, which is glad tidings from Allah; a dream suggested by Shaitan to frighten the dreamer; and the dream in which the reflection of the thoughts and experiences that one had while awake."
Type. Before we move on, the author says on page 12 in the translation, the meaning and types of dreams. First and foremost, what is the meaning of the concept dream? We don't necessarily have to go too deep in that. In the English language, let alone the culture, we understand what a dream is. So therefore, in Arabic and in the Islamic legislature, we say that they may differ on different words that are used. We said that already. He says that Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar rahimahullah says, Al-Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi, who came before him, said, dreams are perceptions placed in the heart of a person in the hands of an angel or a devil. In other words, as we said before, things that Allah gives you to indicate realities, good or bad. Things that are given to you as tools, as indicators, metaphors, figurative things to prove what is really going to happen in life. Whether it's something positive or negative, whether it's something good or what? Bad. Everybody clear on this? He then says, let's move on. He says the 3 types of dreams. Number 1, confused, false dreams from Shaitan. In other words, you see a dream and a lot of things are going on in a dream. You see a dream in which a good part of the dream doesn't make any sense. A good part of the dream is things that are very, very far off in the fantasy. You're just dreaming, sleeping in deep sleep. It's nothing that scares you. It's nothing that gives you a good feeling. You wake up and you think about what happened. It's a dream that is relatively far from reality. And the reason why it's far from reality and far from interpretation is because it's so mixed up. As they said to Yusuf in the jail, Adghafu ahlamin. They says our dreams are confused. They're mixed up. There's nothing clear and right to the point. Everybody understand this? So this is the first type of dreams. And this dream can come from a person sleeping in a certain manner, sleeping in a certain time, something that you eat before you sleep. And as we said before, the lifestyle that you lead. The lifestyle that you lead. And we mentioned this in last week's class. The importance of dreams and psychology and these types of issues. He then says hadithun nafs. And yani, the etiquette of the dream that's mixed up is you shouldn't really talk too much about it. Because the shaitan, as if he's playing around with you in your sleep. So there's no point in you mentioning that. Moving on. Hadithun nafs. And that is you're stressed out. You're worried. Or you're very excited. You're very happy, Sheikh Saab, or something. Alaikum salam. You're very happy about something. Tomorrow's the Eid. Tomorrow's Jumu'ah. You're going to get married. You're going to travel here. You're going to get this job. You graduated from school, etc. You're stressed out about something. So when you go to sleep, you what? You see that thing that you're stressed out about. Or you dream about that thing that's constantly on your mind because it's bothering you so much. And everybody hopefully can see the clear relationship between what? As we just said, the mind and the mental. All right, but I understand this? So that isn't something that needs a big deal of interpretation. That isn't something what? It needs a big deal of interpretation. The person shouldn't be afraid when he sees something, nor should he be too happy. Everybody clear on this? I saw in my dream that my business, my shop got burnt down. Is that going to happen to me? Should I open up my shop today? You're so worried about the grand opening. You're so confused. You're so excited. So you just see something and you shouldn't take that too much. And the third one is a good dream. And just because the word is a good dream does not mean that what takes place and what happens is going to be quote unquote immediately good. It can mean the death of someone who's close to you, someone that you love. And that doesn't mean that that's bad. Everybody understand this? Like the Prophet ﷺ, he saw some of his companions being slaughtered. And he interpreted they would be martyred on the battle of Uhud. So from one aspect, it may be negative, or someone may say bad, but that man is being killed in Allah's cause, which is the highest level. A shaheed, a martyr in Allah's cause, him going to paradise, and many other things taking place. Everybody understand this? So a good dream from Allah, it doesn't mean that you can't see something that may disturb you. Everybody understand this? It may be a good thing for you. And everything that takes place and happens to the believer in his life is what? Is good, one way or another. As the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said in the hadith of Suhaib radiallahu anhu in Sahih Muslim, عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ لَهُ خَيْرٌ وَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ لِأَحَدٍ إِلَّا لِلْمُؤْمِنِ. He says, how wonderful is the affair of the believer. How amazing is the believer's life. He says, everything that takes place for the believer is good. And that's only for the believer. But where are we from this hadith? Where are we what? From this hadith far. He says, in أَصَابَتْهُ سَرَّاءُ شَكَرًا فَكَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُ. If some good comes his way, some prosperity, he's thankful to Allah, and that's good for him. Alhamdulillah, Allah gave me this. Allah brought this to me. Alhamdulillah. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاءُ صَبَرًا فَكَانَ خَيْرًا لَهُ. And if some adversity comes to him, something that's negative, something that's quote unquote bad to him, Allah doesn't decree bad. Allah's creation isn't bad. What may take place is bad from one aspect or one angle. He says, and if adversity comes his way, sabara, he's patient, and it's good for him. But this hadith is easier said than done. Some people, they say it, oh, you let me down. You should have been more patient. We'll see what happens when that happens to you. When you go on your drive, somebody cuts you off from a parking space. Say, be patient. So hey, this is not the case. It's easier said than done. But if you think about it, there's no way a true believer can lose. But we, people, when we have sins, you make disobedience to Allah, you feel far from Allah, then it's not that easy to have that level of iman. But you have to strive. We always have to what? Strive for that level. So anything that happens to you is going to be good one way or another if you're thankful and if you're patient. And these two things here are the main concepts of the religion of Islam. Patience and gratefulness. And Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, and before him his master, Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, they have very extensive discussions on who is closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The grateful, wealthy man or the patient, poor man. Which of the two is closer to Allah? The one who has abundant wealth and he's thankful, or the one who is in a very difficult situation and he's patient, he doesn't complain, he doesn't beg, he doesn't do haram. It's a very, very long argument. Which of the two is what? Better. And the scale that is according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you think about it, it can go both ways. Because it's difficult to be rich and not to be a sinner. It's difficult to have unlimited money and to thank Allah and to be humble and nice and kind. Because with money comes power. With power comes all the things. Respect, whatever you want to call it. Everybody understand this? You can buy your way out of things. You can buy your way into things. You can hide, you can cover up, you can do whatever you want to do when you have money. I'm a millionaire. I don't need to go on an airplane where everybody can see me. I have my own private lair, my own private jet, diplomatic passport. I can do whatever I want to do. Unlimited money. So when I have that money and I'm not going here, I don't do this, I'm not involved in that, and I can, that's a high level of iman. Most people who are wealthy or rich, they're arrogant, snotty, conceited. They look down upon people. I'm not giving charity. It's mine. Why should I give? Let them work. Let them do it. Let them sacrifice like I. This is my average person. Or the one who's poor, who has nothing, and he doesn't complain. He doesn't cry. He doesn't beg. He doesn't abuse the people. Help me out. Give me money. He doesn't go do haram. A man doesn't go in the street and do something that's against another human being. The woman that she doesn't sell herself, she's patient. That is a strong level of iman. So which of the two is better? And the correct opinion is that they're equal. If they're equal in taqwa, then they're equal with Allah. And if one of them has more taqwa than he or she is, better. And it's not a lie. Understand this? This is crucial on a daily basis. So therefore, if you see something that seems to be negative happening in your dream, it doesn't mean that it's a dream from shaitan. Everybody understand this? It does not mean what? It's a dream from shaitan. And that all goes back to what you see, and it all goes back to who interprets it. Someone who's ignorant and immature, he isn't that skilled in it. Oh, that's from shaitan. Don't worry about that dream. No, that's a true dream. But just because this may happen, even if it happens years later, you may lose a child or you're going to lose some money, it doesn't mean that it's what? Bad for you. Maybe that money was keeping you from the dhikr. Maybe this person, and the list goes on. Everybody understand this? So he says the third type of dream is the dream which is a good dream from Allah. And he says that it is a 146th part of prophethood. And we're going to get to that hadith. What exactly does that mean? 146th part of prophethood, of an-nubuwah. Everybody understand this? Tight. Now let's move on. Back to Sahih al-Bukhari. The author, rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, Bab Ru'ya Salihin. He says the chapter of dreams of the righteous. In other words, what is the significance of dreams of righteous men and women? He doesn't say normal people. He doesn't say normal Muslims. He says righteous. Not wicked, but righteous. In other words, as if the dream of the righteous man or the righteous woman has a higher level of significance. And that is because how you sleep is based off of how you
dream. The outcome of the dream.
How you sleep is basically, or is connected and related to how you live. There you go. How you live. You live righteously, inshallah your dream will be righteous. You live in a wicked, foul manner, a confused manner, a stressful manner, your dream is going to be